Yeah, I grew up in the smallest state in the United States. I grew up in
Which is?
Rhode Island.
Ah,
Yeah, I grew up in Rhode Island. I lived there for 22 years of my life. So I went to college there as well before I went to school in Boston. But yeah, I grew up in a very small town in Rhode Island called Charlestown. We were right near the beach. And pretty much from 4 years old up until I was 22, my whole entire life was football and sports. And that is what I dedicated my life to pretty much from like 2 years old. Like there's videos of me running around with Tom Brady jersey on. And I remember like in between half times growing up, that was my thing, like dressing up as Tom Brady and playing
did
football
you
with
play
my
quarterback?
dad. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 12, play
Ah,
quarterback. And that was legit my entire childhood was just dedicated to sports from the time I was 5 years old. It was like, I'm going to be in the NFL. And you could not tell me otherwise. Like middle school, I remember the teacher asking me like, so what do you want to do and go to college? I'm like, I'm going to be in the NFL. And
hmm
that was my thing. Um, yeah, I played sports up until my senior year of college, and played at the University of Rhode Island. And I dealt with a plethora of injuries. My um, high school, like I think my senior year of football was the only season I played the entire season through.
that's tough.
Everything else was like injury ridden. Same with college, lots of concussions. And by the time I was a senior, I would be on the field as a senior and I could not remember the plays. And I remember like this one
From all the
kind of like,
concussions.
yeah, yeah. I remember this one kind of traumatic moment with my coach, like ripping me, benching me on the sidelines because I forgot the play and my quarterback threw an interception. And that's that at that time I was like, okay, something's up. And then I became a strength and conditioning coach right after graduating college,
What'd you go to college for?
exercise science.
Okay.
Yeah. I did kinesiology and then exercise science. Um, and then I became a strength and conditioning coach. Did that for about a year. And then there was a situation where like my boss, who was also my business partner, he was my football trainer throughout high school and college. He turned out to be the first time I was really manipulated by a man in my life.
Hmm.
And that put me into a deep depression. And I was with a girl that went from the gym. We dated like right after high school or right after college. And that became a toxic relationship. I was basically taking care of her. Her mom was a drug addict and I was taking care of her basically. So yeah, I went through that situation. I left. I went to California, or I went to Boston University grad school for like 3 weeks, and it was like Zoom University at the time.
Mm.
So I left that.
When did you graduate?
I graduated in 2019.
You graduated college in 2019.
Yeah.
That's when I left high school.
Damn.
Yeah. Same thing happened with Cam. He was like, yeah, I graduated college in 2019. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Usually it's the opposite. Usually the people I'm around, I'm like, I graduated in 2019. They're like, what? That's super. You're super young. So you're super young.
I'm 23. Yeah.
Damn. Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Good work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I left Boston University. I went to California, spent some time there. Was doing like
Sorry to cut you off. What brought you to California?
I wanted to get the heck out of Rhode Island.
Okay.
And I wanted more for my life. So I traveled to California without really a plan. I just booked a ticket to San Diego and spent some time there and spent like 4 months there. And then I came to Austin and been here since.
Where did you come into finding breathwork? Like at what point in that stage did you find it?
I found it when I was here in Austin. So when I came here, I was a online health and wellness coach, and I had grown a pretty successful business. But I was dealing with depression, anxiety, like pretty severe, and like suicidal thoughts because I had grown this whole business, was doing very well, but I was still like empty, unhappy. I thought that if I made it, like I put so much, kind of the same way I did for football. Like I put so much work into this business, just grinded and hustled. And then I got to the place of success and I was still empty and was not finding happiness within my life. So I remember vividly like the day that I was in my apartment. I just had gone to Sprouts, was super stressed, came into the building of my apartment, drove in my car, was like screaming, crying, yelling. It had just all bottled up. And then I sat in my chair of my apartment and questioned my life. I'm like, why am I doing this? What is the point? I don't see the point of all of this. And I was fortunate enough to have a life coach at the time, and he directed me towards a person that did breath work. And then I started doing breath work every single morning. And since then, I have not stopped. And it completely transformed my life forever, like led me into all the things that I'm doing now. So it was at that critical moment of my life when I really needed it that the breath found me.
The breath found you.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. That's an incredible story. And I think that a lot of people can take something from that because, like, I think a lot of people think that when they get to the point of success, that everything will become complete. But I feel like, and you can say from experience, you have to complete yourself before. And like a philosophy that I have right now is like, I have to become the person that I want to be in the future before I get there. So embracing the journey, not of trying to do something for myself and grow a business and do something. It's like, I have to fix me and put all the pieces together and complete myself internally before I try to go out and do these things and become that person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Appreciate you sharing that, man. That's a great story. So like on the topic of breath work, what benefits come from it? Like I know that like it was a great summary of how you found it, but like,
yeah,
if somebody wants to go do breath work right now, what benefits can they expect from it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, 95% of every disease, every sickness is created from stress. And
really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. They've done studies that show like doctor's visits, 90 to 95% of every doctor's visit is caused from stress, some form of stress. And
interesting.
So many of us, our whole entire population pretty much is living in this sympathetic fight or flight state. So we have the comparison of like, we developed the sympathetic nervous system, which is our fight or flight. And then we have the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest, recover. And we developed those nervous systems because during our evolution, we needed to go into a fight or flight mode to survive. Like if somebody was attacking us, or a lot of people give the comparison of like, if a tiger is going to attack you, you need to go into your fight or flight mode. Like you need to run away.
It's essential for humans.
Yes, exactly. The problem is we've developed a society where we are constantly in our sympathetic state. We have screens around us. We have just constant stimulation coming from so many different areas. From the time that we're 2-3 years old till through our adulthood, it's just constant stimulation. And now it's worse than ever. So what breath allows us to do is it's one of the only things that connects our mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical bodies together. So when you're able to go into breath work, you're able to bring your body into more coherence, more awareness. So it brings your body from a sympathetic fight or flight state into a parasympathetic rest and recover. This allows your body safety. It allows your body a lot of calmness. It allows you to have more awareness, more presence. And what you're doing on more of like a scientific level is really taking your body out of that heightened stress state into a more calm state. And ultimately, over time, you're going to just feel more present, feel more calm throughout your day. And it brings a lot of healing to your body as well, because if we're in a chronic stress state, we're going to cause chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation causes dis-ease, and 60 something percent of the population has at least one chronic disease.
Mm. Do you think that that's like a one solution to fix it? Because there's like, you spoke about external factors, but like the food, the music, you know, I'm sure, you know, like the frequencies, and it has an impact on our bodies and our mind and our energy. Because I believe that we're spiritual beings. I'm sure you do as well. Is that like, say you're eating like really bad, you're eating like trash, you're listening to, you know, horrible music, you know, you're constantly on the phone, different screens, overstimulated all day, every day. Is breath work like a one size fits all type of deal where it can kind of just take all of that and just kind of put it away? Or do you think that you have to take more of a holistic approach when you're starting breath work and saying, okay, I'm going to fix my diet, I'm going to fix what I'm listening to and watching and that sort of thing?
What I have personally seen is that when people start with breath work, it becomes holistic because you're creating a connection with your body that you didn't have before. And it's bringing you out of this constant thinking mind. That's something that breathwork does, is like we're in our mind all day, every day, constant thoughts.
I am, for sure.
Yeah.
I can't sleep at night because I just think so much, man. It's like ideas just flowing.
Yeah.
I need breathwork.
Yes, you do. And what it allows for is to get out of this constant thinking mind, develop a relationship with your body. So then when you have this relationship with your body, you start to feel your emotions, get in tune with your nervous system. Then what it allows for is to be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be putting this horrible food into my body because I'm respecting my body more. Oh, maybe I should start exercising to be able to move my energy and take care of myself. So I've worked with many, many people, and like I start them on literally 5 minutes of breath work when they wake up first thing in the morning. And I've had addicts that I work with, and they're like, this has completely transformed my life, like 5 minutes. Like I remember one addict specifically, like he was on this path for a long time, like overdosing and things. I started him with 5 minutes of breath work every single morning, and now he's a meditation teacher.
Really?
Yes. So like to go from that to where he's at now, like it can literally start with the simplest thing. Because we go throughout our lives, we do this thing every second of every single day. The only thing that you do from the moment that you're born to the moment that you pass away is breathe. So if you can get in tune with this thing that you're doing every single day that controls your emotions, your feelings, your nervous system, like it can change everything in your life.
That's powerful. That's really powerful. I see why you're into this and wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you're going to put somebody on a 5 minute a day when they wake up, 5 minutes of breath work. What's the principles, or like what are the techniques you're going to teach somebody that's beginning?
I literally just have them focus on their breath. Like
that's it.
That's it. So like I have on social media, I have people like go crazy for like this 5 minute practice, and I developed it. It's a 5 minute presence practice that you do first thing in the morning. And all that the recording is I have people take a couple deep breaths and then just sit there and focus on their breath, like focus on the flow of air coming in and flowing out. Because if we're just caught up in our minds all day, but if we take our focus to this, the flow of air moving in and out, then that allows our mind to start to shut off. And I have so many comments of like, this has been the best thing that I've ever done in my life. And that's how I start people. And then we evolve from there. But the first practice is to literally just focus on the feeling of it moving in through your nose and out through your mouth. That's it.
I think that's a good alternative. Breathwork is probably a form of meditation. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
But I was going to say, I feel like it's a good alternative to meditation because people hear, okay, I'm going to meditate. And they'll sit there, and I've done it too. It took me a while. I do meditate in the sauna sometimes, that sort of thing. But at first, it's really hard to, like you said, focus on one thing.
Yeah.
Like you try to settle down, no sound, no music, none of that, and just try to focus on yourself and it's hard sometimes to get rid of all those thoughts that are flowing, like you said, because we're always
Yeah.
overstimulated and there's always
Mhm.
thoughts going on.
Yeah.
But I feel like a breath is one thing that you can really focus on
Mm.
that can really just tame all of the noise
Yeah.
that's going on.
Yeah.
So do you teach it and preach it as like a form of
Mm.
meditation as well?
Yeah, I teach it. I mean, it is a form of meditation. I mean, meditation is really just placing our attention on something and like focusing on that.
Is that the definition of
One of them? That's kind of
Yeah.
mine. I mean, there's many different types of meditation, but just on the simplest thing, it's like just placing your focus on something. But to be able to allow yourself to have that focus with just your breath, it allows you to quiet that mind. So many people, like everybody watching and listening to this, you probably go and try to meditate. And then you sit and you meditate and you're like, I just can't, my mind just won't shut up. I can't sit still. Mm-hmm. That's what many people try and do. And you're setting yourself up for failure when you do that, because your mind's been going every single day. It's not just going to magically, when you sit, start to turn off.
Yeah.
So breath allows us to get out of our conscious thinking mind, have a focus, and allows our nervous system to calm. When our nervous system is more calm, that's when the brain starts to quiet. Your brain is constantly going because your nervous system has so many emotions and feelings and things that have been bottled up for so long. And these two things are talking all the time. And your mind is constantly going because your body is asking for attention and you're not giving it attention. So when you focus on your breath, you give your body the attention, and that's when the mind starts to quiet.
Do you believe in chakras?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. I do as well. So I think I already know your answer to this, but do you think that all of this ties into your chakras and kind of activating all those different points that aren't necessarily hit on? And I think today, especially, like we spoke about the food, the media, the sound and that sort of thing. I feel like at this point in time, especially young people are so disconnected from our spiritual selves and disconnected to the universe that more people need to listen to people like you and you know, subscribe to whatever you're doing. Start doing the 5-minute breath work. Start watching your content and putting in practice what you're doing. So how would you kind of connect that? And is it part of your teaching, the spirituality side of things? How do you connect those?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we are energetic and emotional beings. And so energy flows through us, and we do have these chakras or chakras that go throughout our body. We have 7 or 8 major ones. And when these are misaligned, it causes our body to kind of be in chaos, out of coherence. So yeah, we can tie in breath directly with these energetic centers. And different energetic centers run throughout our body. Each one has a different meaning, a different purpose. Each one feels different emotions. Each one stores different emotions. So like we'll hold sadness and grief in our heart chakra, and it stores there. But then once we open that up, which breath work allows us to do, then we feel more love, more oneness with everything. So these two things are very intertwined. To go on like more of a spiritual talk and about breath work, like breath translates to spirit, and spirit moves through us. Spirit allows us to connect with everything and everyone. So as spirit moves through you, it allows your energy and your energetic centers to go into coherence as well. So those two things work hand in hand.
Breath is spirit.
Yes.
Where did you learn that, or is that like just a self?
There's a great book called The Resurrection of Jesus, which talks about just kind of his path and what he talked about in his life and what he was telling people, like actually telling people. That's a whole other story that we could get into. But he was actually a big proponent of breath. And in that book, it talks about how he would talk about breath, and that breath translates to spirit. Like that was...
Is this part of like, people say, and I'm not sure if this is true, but like Yahweh is the breath? Like Yah, like, and way is the...
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yes. So breath has been around for, I mean, well, we've always been doing it. So like even somebody like Jesus saw the power of our breath. And that's where the word breath comes from, is spirit.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of people? Because I know with these sorts of things, and I've encountered it myself, like even my own friends talking about a whole bunch of different stuff. I'm very into ancient history, the ancient Egyptians, so to speak, aliens, higher beings, total believer in that stuff. And a lot of people are skeptical. So for somebody who is skeptical about breathwork and your teachings, what would you say to them? Or like what kind of conversations do you have with them about how to kind of change their mind on that at least?
I mean, the first thing is like people listening, watching right now, like stop breathing. See what happens.
Oh, you're dead.
So obviously it's something important to focus on. And like for people that are skeptical, like literally just take a moment to, like I said before, like focus on your breath for a minute. Like focus on the breath moving in through your nose, out through your mouth, and also focusing it like what we spoke about before this was many people are breathing up in their chest throughout the day. So if you're breathing like these short breaths, you are signaling to your body, I am in a state of stress. I am not safe. I am not okay. So if you take 1 minute to direct your breath down into your diaphragm, this is the organ that sits right below our rib cage and right above our waistline. And so if you take the moment to focus your breath into your diaphragm, this big muscle here, you're going to allow yourself to get out of that stressed out state and go into more of a calm and relaxed place. And so if you take a minute to do that, just see how you feel after that.
So right now I'm breathing. I feel my stomach expanding. That might just be a normal thing that happens. How do I know if I'm breathing through my chest or through my stomach?
Just by, well,
like when you breathe in, just like really like feel it in your stomach expanding and
yeah. So
I mean, let's seat positioning thing. Like what? How does that work?
Let's try it right now.
Let's try it right now. Let's try
it. So take a moment and like place your hand on your chest. Place one hand on your chest and place one hand on your belly. And now I'm going to ask you to breathe like short breaths up into your chest, like kind of quick, kind of fast. So you notice like in order to breathe up into the chest, you have to kind of take shorter breaths. Like you can't take a big breath into your chest.
Right.
It has to be short. It has to be shallow. Now, breathe into this bottom hand, your left hand, and breathe in through your nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. So breathe even more, like notice. Yeah, so right now, you are breathing in your chest.
Really?
Yes. So breathe more into your left hand. Like take a moment, expand your belly. So don't even take a breath yet. Expand into this. Yeah. Now let it relax. Expand into that. Let it relax. Like you're trying to push your left hand out. Let it relax. Yeah, keep doing that. Good. A little bit more. Good. Do one more. Good.
This is a masterclass right now. I'll tell you what, though, I feel a lot of tension. Like when I was breathing in there, I felt a lot of strain up here. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I felt a lot of strain like up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's probably because I don't breathe through my belly.
Exactly. So
there's a lot of tension up here. I do feel better though.
Awesome. Yeah. So imagine like that's what a lot of people don't just literally do not have a developed diaphragm. So they don't know how to actually expand and contract. It's a muscle. So you have to train it. So most people, they are so tense and tight up here because they're constantly breathing into their chest. That's why you see a lot of people like this. like closed off, breathing up here, shrug shoulders, there's just so much tension. So then when you start to like, even on a physical level with your body, as you start to focus on your breath, you're developing this. It takes tension away from up here and in your shoulders, and you're able to actually expand and contract this muscle.
So it is a muscle. It's like you're training a muscle.
Yeah, you're basically, yeah. So on a physical level, like you're training your diaphragm.
I'm not gonna lie, man. That feels good. It's like a shot of espresso.
Yeah.
It's like I feel energized.
Yeah.
It's natural energy.
Exactly.
I can see where that can really set your tone for the day.
Absolutely. Imagine if you, instead of waking up and going and grabbing your cup of coffee first thing in the morning, imagine if you focused on your breath, and you're much more present, you're much more calm, you're in a much more grounded place as you go throughout your day, rather than you wake up, you check your phone, you check your email, you grab your cup of coffee, and then you're just constantly in this sympathetic fight or flight state your entire day.
I think that could definitely play a role in, like, I'm not political, but like moving civilization forward as well, because I think a very high percentage of people are doing exactly what you just said. Waking up, and I fall victim to it too, waking up, rolling over, checking the phone, going to have coffee, like as soon as you wake up, not really being mindful of themselves. And I feel like a piece of this is also raising your consciousness as well, right? Allowing you to be more in tune with the universe, with other people, and with yourself. And I feel like the more that we can all do that collectively, the better our civilization will be. You know, you see like all the wars happening and just stupid fights, like over racism and just like politics and a bunch of different stuff. I feel like, I said it before, but once we can all do that and become more mindful and love one another, like it says in the Bible, we can really start to make some changes and start to enter the golden era. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the world is in the place that it is in because many people just literally don't have control over themselves. They've been controlled ever since we've been 4 years old. We go into a school, we go to preschool, and then we go into kindergarten, then we go into grade school, and then we go into high school, and then we go into college, and we're just told from the moment that and our brains are developing and our programs, and we're just told what we have to do. And so there's all these people that know they're meant for more in their lives, but they've been controlled to the point where they just run by their minds. They're not run by their higher self. There's this soul within them that is like begging for them to listen, but they can't because they're run by these programs. So if we take the moments in our lives to literally just have a moment where we're present with ourselves, we can start to form that connection. And that's really like this spiritual path. I know that for myself is like changing these programs. So if everybody was to take these moments of presence in their life, our world would start to be a much better place and people would actually have control over themselves.
Yeah. I like what you said about programs, like our bodies and our minds essentially are programs, right? Like you said, from the beginning, from birth all the way to however old you are now, it's all somebody else's thoughts. Like I was thinking about it yesterday. Like if you're reading a book, that's somebody else's thoughts that they put on paper that are now your thoughts if you attach yourself to whatever they're saying. And a lot of people and I've had to kind of reverse myself and kind of look internally and say, okay, do I really believe that? Because you'll see stuff on a reel and you're like, oh, that's true. And then you'll be talking about it in public somewhere else weeks later, and you attach yourself to that ideology, but that's not really your ideology. You probably don't believe that. It's just somebody else that's penetrated your mind and your thoughts, that sort of thing, which I think is very powerful if you can notice it and change it.
Yeah. I mean, we are just, our brain is basically a computer. Then we can change the programs that we put into it. A large part, I've been talking about this a lot recently, but a large part of a majority of what our programs are run by as we go into adulthood is what we learn from the ages of 1 to 7. That is the point where we are developing our subconscious mind. And we're in a different brainwave state when we're in those early childhood years.
What state is that?
So we go into theta.
Theta, okay.
So theta is the brainwave state that we use for hypnosis. And so we're in that brainwave state as we're a child. So we're walking around basically in hypnosis. That's why you see like
just soaking in everything.
Yeah, soaking in everything. We in terms of our the way that we live our lives as a children, like we're both in our intellectual and emotional mind at the same time. And so as we go into adulthood, we're not able to do that. So we're just internalizing the world, learning these beliefs and programs, but we're not fully aware of it. And that is what we are doing as a child, because we come into this world and we are a being. As a human being, we forget. We forget what we are. We forget about our soul. We forget everything as we incarnate into this world. So we are in hypnosis, basically learning. So your parents, what they told you, your teachers, your guardians, the TV, everything is basically putting programs into your mind. And this is what you live your life as from 7 on. And we do like develop programs as we grow, but more a majority of it is 1 to 7. So like what your parents taught you, what your guardians taught you, what your teachers taught you, that is what shapes you as you go into your adulthood. So many people are like, I just can't understand. I don't understand why I can't make the amount of money that I want. I can't break free from this relationship that like I keep having this freaking toxic girl that comes into my life over and over again. Why is this happening? Well, it's because of the programs that you were programmed with from a child. So you have to change those. The thing is like breathwork allows us to do that. It allows us to get into a different brainwave state so that we can start to change those patterns, those programs.
What are your thoughts on sound therapy then as well? Because I listen to binaural beats.
Yeah.
They have absolutely helped me. I haven't told anybody this actually, except my dad. I think I told him. I got into sound therapy maybe like a year ago, started really getting into it. And I had an outer body experience. And it was the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. And since that moment in time, like some weird things have been happening, and I'll share that later. But I had it on and I was playing it in my headphones, and I thought I was awake. I was like laying in my bed and I was in the corner. Like I thought I was waking up, and I was in the corner of my bedroom looking at myself. I'm like freaking out talking about it, because it's just like, man, it was eye-opening, because I always knew there was a higher self, and I always knew, what was within me. But when that happened, I was like, this is real, because I thought it was real life. Like I swore I was wide awake, and I'm sitting there looking at my own body, laying there, and that was so impactful for me. Like, have you had that experience? Dude,
Many.
I'm like, it was the wildest thing that just took me down a road of like learning about spirituality and who we really are and what we're capable of. And I came across the CIA document. I forget what it's called. Do you know what it's called?
I know what you're talking about.
Oh man, I forget the CIA document. But they were training the CIA. They were training their guys to basically purposefully go into this state. And there's actually, the Sean Ryan show. There's a guy that came on there that was doing like CIA targeting, where he was inducing out of body experiences and then traveling like to different places. And he talks about this at length. And has multiple witnesses and people like, this is CIA stuff. And when that's on paper, I mean, you can't, not acknowledge that. You can't just throw it in the garbage. But yeah, man. So since that's happened, there's like weird points in my life where I really don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. I put my faith in God and Jesus Christ first, always. But I get to points where I need to make a decision, or like I feel like things are collapsing on me, and I see repetitive numbers over and over, but they come at those exact times. It's like, I'll be good and I'm feeling great, and then just like for a month straight, I'm seeing 333, 444, 5 fours in a row. But it's like the weirdest thing, like I'll be scrolling on Instagram. We all scroll on Instagram. We can't get away from it. And like, I won't look at any likes. And then the time that I decide to look at the likes, it's like 777. Or I'll look at like the mileage on my car.
Mm-hmm.
And like the time, I never look at the mileage on my car. The time I go to look at it, 555.
Mm-hmm.
And I get like, I get chills, man,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, I know that I'm being directed by something.
Yep.
Don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But my faith tells me that I am connected to something that has power to create what we have here and knows me and knows what's going on in my life and is guiding me through my life. One thing that my dad always tells me is like, you're not running your life. You feel like you're in the analogy is you're in a boat, throw away the paddles because you're not rowing it, you know? So it's like, okay, I'm going to let it navigate me.
Yeah.
You know? And even if you don't believe in God, like you are being taken care of by a higher being, whatever, if you want to call it energy, if you want to call it higher consciousness, whatever it is. So, I just wanted to share that. I've never told anybody, but it was moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was moving. And I've had one of those experiences before as well. Like a month ago, really weird time. I was supposed to move in with somebody, didn't end up happening. It was just like a really uncertain time. I didn't know what was going to happen. You probably go into that fight or flight state. I was in that state for a while.
Yeah.
Then I started seeing all those numbers and like just things just started to happen for me that I just like made me stop in my tracks and just like thank God, because it's like there's no other explanation for what's going on here. It's no coincidence. You can't tag it to, just chance. It's like it's destiny. So
yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And we are all being led by a higher power. And what you spoke to is like, that is faith, that we don't truly know what it is, but we know that we're being led by something.
Yeah.
And putting ourselves into that faith, that's one of the hardest things that we do or can do as human beings, is like the complete surrender, the complete letting go to something higher than ourselves. And when we allow ourselves to do that, that is truly when the beauty of life opens up for us. Control just puts us in this state of stress, and that's really what stress a major component of stress can be, is that we are trying to control what we can't control. We're trying to control a life that we cannot control. Yeah. Like in the end, like we really don't have control over anything. We can have control over like where we put our attention and where we put our focus, but there does have to be that aspect of surrender and letting go. And that is when the beauty of life unfolds for us.
That's powerful. You said so much great things here. I'm so happy to have you on, man. How do I say this? In terms of, let's talk like supplements or medicines. How do you go about that? I know now, especially now, there's a lot of companies that are coming out with mushrooms and different, like ashwagandha for stress and that sort of thing. Yeah. Are you pro supplement or are you against supplement? And how do you think that ties into like our bodies and breath work and that sort of thing? Do you think it interferes with it?
Absolutely. I personally do not take anything. I was at a point in my life where I was on like $500 worth of supplements and went through that whole thing. I personally don't. I focus on getting my foods from the highest quality sources that I possibly can. Like which is hard nowadays. Yeah, very hard. In Austin, Texas, thankfully, we have really good sources. So I get like everything that I eat in terms of like grass-fed meats and eggs. Like I get it from a local farm that's regenerative.
I want to get with you on that because I've been wanting to get like farm raised eggs and like get my meat straight from a butcher. Yes. Because man, I got like really sick maybe a month ago, 2 months ago from this ground beef. It's like the same ground beef I eat all the time because I meal prep, so I know what I eat consistently. But I got this beef from H-E-B and it just got me so sick. Yeah. Like so sick. I'm like, what good is there out there now? If you're not getting it from a farmer, like how can you get proper nutrition that's real? I don't even know if it's real now. It could be synthetic.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is hard for a majority of the population, but this is like a stance that we can all take, is to bring more regenerative farming to our world, it will actually help us rebuild our environment, because in about the next 50 years or so, like our topsoil will be completely gone from monocropping. If we bring back regenerative farming, we will build back our entire ecosystem.
Can you explain regenerative
Yes.
farming?
So basically what regenerative farming is like they will take cows on a pasture, and the cows have in the process that they go through with when they eat the grass and then they poop it out and it fertilizes the soil.
Oh, I see.
So that is what the regeneration is. And it builds because like on a spiritual level, our entire world, like our animals, our trees, us, we're all supposed to be in coherence. And you could say God created it in that way. So that's what cows are doing. Cows are not polluting the environment. They're actually very, very needed for our environment.
Yeah.
And so when you go through this regenerative agriculture process, they like take the cows, they'll put them on one part of the land, they'll eat the grass, then they will poop on it, and it fertilizes the soil, and it builds this whole ecosystem, like trees, birds, bugs. It brings the life back to, brings the earth back to life. And then they put them on another part, and they'll do the same thing. So basically, if we just had cows walking around everywhere, we would have a beautiful ecosystem.
Yeah.
But that's what the regenerative farming is, so that you're not taking from the earth.
Like, we don't do that anymore?
No, we do.
Also, our farms are being attacked right now.
Yeah.
Nobody wants farmers anymore.
Yeah, because because Bill Gates wants us all to eat plant-based meats.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a big problem revolving around everything that we talked about today too. There's like a there's a certain set of people that are just like attacking our food, attacking the farms, and then you've got like the music industry who's attacking our spirituality through music and their music videos. And now you've got like all of the famous people that people idolize and look up to that are now showing up with like devil costumes and like little signals that it's like it's just putting it right in our face, which is completely destructive. So I don't even know where we're going to be in 10, 15, like 20 years, which is why I think we all need to talk to you. Everybody talk to you.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, we are in a time where like we are in a very dire time in our whole existence, and as the light grows, the darkness grows stronger as well. We live in a world of polarities. So as we see more and more people awakening to their spirituality, awakening to like their true powers, their true gifts, we also see the opposite end of the spectrum. That's why we see like these wars. That's why we see things with celebrities, like that darkness grows stronger as the light goes stronger. So it's the polarity. But eventually we will get to a place, the more people that choose this light, like they will start to pull apart more and more. So like on a deeper level, we're really expanding into a new consciousness, a new dimension. We're going from 3D to 5D. And so this is the time that we see this. This is why like people are experiencing a lot of like ascension symptoms and things like that, is because we are moving into this new realm. But as we go into that new realm, we're going to see these very opposite ends of the spectrum. And so that's why the darkness is getting even stronger, is because the light is also getting stronger too. It's just where we place our attention and focus.
I heard on a podcast, it was also the Sean Ryan podcast. I think it was with what's his name? Something Carson, Billy Carson.
Yeah.
Not sure if you know him.
Yes. Yep.
Love Billy Carson. Absolutely love that guy. I've read all of his books. He said something that really stuck with me. He was saying that light is always stronger than dark, but he put in an analogy that was really like you could really capture it and really feel it. Like this room right here, the lights are on. There's no amount of darkness that you can put in this room to make it more dark because the lights are going to stay on, right? But if you have a completely dark room, even a lighter switch or like the smallest amount of light just emanates out, right? So that like a little bit of light can overshadow all that darkness.
Yes.
So everything you just said is completely valid.
Yes.
Now, you talked about these different realms. 3D to 5D.
Yes.
Do you know Doris Cannon?
Dolores Cannon.
Dolores Cannon. Love her. You like Dolores Cannon?
We were just talking about it today.
Okay. Well, how about that? That's so funny. So I read one of her books.
Mm-hmm.
And I love her videos as well. And she was talking about how right now we were going through exactly what you just said, that shift.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly does that mean?
Yes.
To put it simple.
Good question. The way that she speaks about it, and I've watched a lot of her videos, read her books. She's actually her spirit has come to me in meditations before.
How so? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, it was actually during, have you ever heard of hape? It's a type of it's a ceremonial snuff that drops you into a very deep grounded meditation.
But I want to know about it.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful. Yeah, she would come to me in some of those ceremonies, her spirit, and tell me to go and research her stuff. And so I have read her books and watched her videos and things. And basically what she talks about is what is happening is that as we go into, it's called the New Earth. So there's a book by Eckhart Tolle called The New Earth.
Don't know him.
And she,
or her.
You should. And she has a book called The New Earth and the 3 Ways of Volunteers. And so the way that she describes it is basically the way that we evolve into the new earth is we have to let go of karma. Karma is a big thing that keeps us in the 3D realm. So there's the old earth and the new earth. These karmic loops that people get stuck into. So on a deep level, anybody that has done you wrong in your life and you hold haste towards them, you hold hate, you hold anything towards them, that is causing you to not evolve spiritually. So what we have to do is give those people compassion and forgiveness. It doesn't mean we have to forgive them for exactly what they did, but we just have to forgive them. As you go on the spiritual path, you see that anybody that has done you wrong in your life, it's nothing personal towards you. It is only coming from their own beliefs, subconscious programs that are causing them to act in that way. As you go on the spiritual path, you get to see that. I know that I have personally saw that. Really, we just have to look at these people that hurt us as traumatized children in big people's bodies.
Yeah.
Because that's really what they are. So we can give forgiveness to them. That's what allows us to evolve spiritually. That is how we go get rid of karma, because this karmic loop is what keeps us from evolving to this new earth. Basically, the new earth that is happening is we will go into a place where there's no more I am a breathwork facilitator. I am this. I am that. I am this. We are all in this new earth, as she describes it, is we're all just one. It's oneness.
Sounds beautiful.
It does sound very beautiful. So as we're going through these times, that's why there's so many breathwork facilitators. There's so many sound healers and body workers and all these different types of things, is because really what we're helping people do is heal so that they can evolve into this higher dimension.
So that higher dimension is still on this planet.
As she describes it, yes, we will evolve into this new earth, and it will happen in a way that we know that we've evolved, but we won't totally remember it. It's some funky stuff.
I can see what she's trying to say though.
Stuff.
Huh. I'd love to go there.
Yeah.
I hope that'll happen in our lifetime.
Get rid of all your karma.
I feel like now I actually kind of am in a place where I do.
Yeah.
I used to hold a lot of grudges.
Yeah.
Because I can be a hothead sometimes.
Yeah.
No, I used to be a huge hothead.
And
I calmed down.
Yeah.
And I actually did it through golf, which is a funny thing because I like just being with nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be like throwing my clubs and stuff. And then once I really started to focus my attention on being calm during golf, it evolved and transferred over to my life, like outside of work.
Yeah.
But I lost my train of thought there. Damn, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we all can move into this new dimension together. It's really just, we're already doing it. It's like a place of more love. That is when I ask the question of like, what are we really here to do? It's just to step into a place of more love in our lives in all moments.
Do you think we've lived before? Do you think that we're doing this over and over and over again until we get it right, whatever that right thing is? Do you think that? Because I swear I feel that.
I mean, absolutely. Yes, totally believe in the reincarnation on all of that. And yeah, so I mean, I'm pretty damn spiritual. I've seen some things, like really, really deep things. And over the past 3 years, I mean, my life has drastically changed. And I do have a very deep connection with God, with spirits, and like able to talk to different spirits and different entities and all these things. And yeah, I mean, I've seen myself in different past lives. I've seen myself in different universes. Like we have a soul that incarnates into different physical bodies. To basically, the point of our soul as a human being is, we know there's nothing that we are here to necessarily learn. That's a big misconception that we have, is that we're just here to learn lessons and like Earth School. And it's a part of it.
Earth School. I like that.
Yeah.
Earth School.
Yeah. I mean, the real meaning of this life is to conceptually, we already know everything. We know everything that we could possibly ever need to know. It is, we incarnate into a physical body to be able to see our soul's expression. So we come into Earth and we're able to create anything that we want to. And so we're able to see our soul actually come into existence in this human body and create anything. So like our real goal is to see how much of our soul's expression can be brought into this human realm.
Yeah. I really like that. And about a year ago, I had an eye-opening moment as well, where I was just staring at myself in a mirror. Like I was literally in my apartment, just like walking by after I showered or something. And then I crossed the mirror and I just turned and just decided to look at myself. And I was sitting there looking at myself and I was like, I'm not me. Like I was looking at my eyes, I was looking at my face and looking at my arms and just like this body. And I just realized in that moment that I'm not me. Like this is not who I am. It's just what I look like, you know? But like you, like this is you, but you're, oh man, it's like, for me, it's emotional. I don't know why, man, I get emotional about it. But it's like, we're literally we're just energies. Like we're just two spirits and souls, like you said. And like when we die, it's just the body. And that's all it is. But the soul is what goes.
Yeah.
So that's just, I'm getting chills. It's so powerful. It's so powerful, you know, and I love it. And I wish more people could be a part of that and you know, be able to feel that and live that way, knowing that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And we can. More people are. The more that we speak about it, the more that we talk about it. Like the ones that are ready will listen. And yeah, more of us can go on this path.
And we shift into the new earth.
Yes. We're doing it.
That's awesome, man. Anything else? I think this has been a great conversation. I think it's a good place to end.
Yeah.
Everyone check out his program. What does that program look like then? Like you get a client. Does like a consultation come first? Do you look at all areas of their life? I know you put them on the 5-minute thing, but kind of what happens before that if somebody wants to go and check you out?
Yeah, absolutely. There's different ways that like people can work with me in terms of my one-to-one work, like, yeah, it always starts with just an initial connection, like just seeing where people are at, what they're wanting to work on, what they're wanting to dive into. And then I work with like spiritual entrepreneurs and coaches, really people that are wanting to step into that expression fully, and create like a business behind it. And then I work with people individually in terms of like sessions and things. But yeah, we always start with a connection, and then I direct people in the best way. And then I will also I'm creating a membership as well, which is basically where I teach everything that we talked about today, like breath, nervous system reprogramming, subconscious reprogramming. And that is a place that more people will be able to come into too.
It's like a monthly membership.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So
online, strictly online.
Yeah, it's online. And then I do events in person as well. I do breathwork events here in Austin, Texas. I'm going to be doing them actually like all over the US soon. So people can check those out too.
When's your next one in Austin?
It's going to be the week of July 20th.
Next month.
Kuya.
Kuya. What's Kuya?
Yes. It's like a sauna, cold plunge place. They do events.
I think Kim was talking about that.
Yeah. So we'll be doing one. I do a lot with one of my coaches and mentors. Her name is Drea. So we do these events that involve like breath work and energy healing. So that will be next month.
Lovely. I'd love to check that out. Send me some more information on that.
I will.
Where can they find you? I don't know where your camera is. Where can they find you if they want to check you out?
Yeah, just check me out on my Instagram. Best place to check me out, Jake_WHAN. If you follow me there, you'll learn a lot of good stuff.
Yes, you will.
Mm.
Cool. Go check them out, and we'll see you on the next episode.